We're going to move to our next expert based out of Edmonton. This expert writes her own blog called The Vic Version, where she gives thrifting tips and everyday fashion inspiration, from fashion that's actually wearable and beauty that doesn't require being an expert, to traveling around the world in your own backyard. And trust me, there are some great things to visit right here in this beautiful province of Alberta. She provides a piece of it all. This is Victoria. And if you happen to follow along Victoria on Instagram, she showcases actually a lot of vintage jeans, which are actually pretty cool. And I know she finds them at Goodwill. Victoria, welcome this evening.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. So as you mentioned, I'm Victoria and I run the blog, The Vic Version, which has everything from fashion to lifestyle to travel, although traveling has definitely taken a back seat. So fashion has been more on the forefront these days, which is awesome. But I started thrifting maybe a few years ago, but got really into it this past year. So I originally started thrifting to find more unique pieces that I could wear every day, but then later found that I could find like almost brand new pieces for really good prices. So I started kind of looking for both of those things through thrifting. But more recently, I've really started to upcycle the things that I find at Goodwill. So as you mentioned, I love to find jeans at Goodwill, and I'm actually wearing my favorite pair today. So I got this pair of jeans from Goodwill. I think they were 50% off, so they were about $4.50. And I actually upcycle my jeans, so I put my own rips in them. And so I really like to upcycle things that I find at Goodwill, because often, as was previously mentioned by another influencer, it's really difficult to find things that fit absolutely perfectly, just as it is in a normal store. So I started changing things or like altering them myself to make them fit my style. So for instance, this little sunglass chain was actually a necklace, and I made it into a sunglasses chain a few weeks ago, as well as there was leftovers, so I made myself a little necklace. And I just really like to find things at Goodwill, and if I love them the way they are, like I did this top, I'll wear it just like that. But if not, then I always change it to make something that I love.
Yeah, and I love how you actually talked about alterations and upcycling. I mean, you're exactly right. We all come in different body shapes, body sizes. We all have different preferences. But you talked about just upcycling some of the items, and even clothing items as well. A lot of people upcycle furniture, which is great, but you talked about upcycling your jeans or sweaters.
Yeah,
I think that has to be very beneficial, right?
it is. I think that when I find something at the thrift store that I love, but it's just not quite right, there's always a way to make it just perfect for me. So for instance, the jeans, I like to rip them myself, or the necklaces, I'll shorten the length. I also tend to, on vintage dress pants, I find that the hardware, so the button, kind of can make it go from vintage to just granny. So to take it back to vintage, I usually just cut off the button and resew my own on.
That's awesome. And you know what? Usually I was going to wait for the Q&A to the very end, but we did actually have one pop up for you. It's from Elizabeth. Did
Yeah.
you happen to distress the backside of it as well?
Yeah, so I distress the whole jean. So I distress, hopefully you can see, I distress the knees, usually the front, as well as the back pockets, so that I can get the look that I really like.
Well, that is pretty cool. Is there anything else that you would like to add, Victoria?
Not really. Just thank you for having me, and I hope that people start to shop more at Goodwill, because there's really some awesome stuff to find.
Well, keep styling and profiling because your outfit, along with everybody else's so far tonight, has been absolutely bomb. Like it has been absolutely great. So
Thank you.
keep doing what you're doing.